Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to Michael in the Morning. Today is Friday, July 24th, 2020, and we have some important news to go over with the timeline of the second stimulus package. And it's not great news. In today's video, we're going to go over how nearly 70,000 new virus cases were recorded in the US yesterday on Thursday, which is the third most any day since the start of the pandemic. Then we're going to get into how cases are resurging in areas around the world where we thought we had already tamed the virus. And finally, we're going to get into the specific timeline of the second stimulus package, the new updated timeline after negotiations yesterday. They had to delay them because they weren't able to come to an agreement this week, so now we won't see it until next week. So I'll give you specific details there. But before we get started, if you're interested in staying up to date on what is going on in the world with your money and how to make more money, well then please be sure to like the video down below and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified when new videos come out. Also, don't forget to get $5 immediately when you download the Acorns investing app and get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you download the Webull investing app as well. Let's get right into it. So, nearly 70,000 new virus cases were recorded in the US on Thursday, which is the third most in a single day since the start of the pandemic. The total number of known cases in the country surpassed 4 million cases yesterday, according to the New York Times database, and the United States also recorded its third consecutive day of at least 1,100 deaths from the virus. A lot of people had been saying that deaths were decreasing, so it wasn't recorded accurately, but now actually deaths have been increasing for the last 2 weeks. So now we're seeing over 1,100 deaths for the last couple of days. In addition to this, the virus is rebounding in places where people had thought it was already tamed and the countries had already recovered from it. New worldwide cases have risen more than 35% since the end of June, and places like an outbreak in Melbourne, Australia, has rattled officials after extensive testing and early lockdowns had limited outbreaks for months, but now they're seeing a resurgence there. In addition to this, Hong Kong, where schools, restaurants, and malls were able to stay open, has announced new restrictions in the face of its largest outbreak since the beginning of the pandemic. And finally, we're also seeing large resurgences in Tokyo, which has avoided a full lockdown and has relied on contact tracing and testing, but now they're putting more restrictions into place as well. So this is not good news moving forward for us, because looking at what happened in these other countries, they thought they had a full recovery. They thought no new cases were announced, but even if you see no new cases for days at a time, it still means that we could still see a resurgence even after we think we have recovered. So this is something to keep an eye out for moving forward as things eventually start to get better in the US and cases start to go down. Next up is GOP senators were expected to introduce the second stimulus package on Thursday after days of closed-door negotiations among themselves and the White House. However, they have been publicly struggling to get on the same page. Republicans stumbled on Thursday in their efforts to find agreement on a broad new proposal to lift the struggling economy in the US, with Senate leaders and the Trump administration at odds over multiple provisions in this next package, including how to extend unemployment benefits and White House requests for spending in unrelated areas to the pandemic. President Trump had been pushing for a payroll tax cut. However, yesterday he conceded to this and he said they don't need to include a payroll tax cut in the next bill. But even after President Trump folded on one of his high demands with this payroll tax cut, negotiations were bogged down over details of the package, including how to reduce the money that Americans are currently receiving with the $600 per week and $2,400 per month unemployment benefits, which is set to expire at the end of this month. In addition to unemployment benefits, there was another snag in negotiations because the administration pushed for language to be included in the package about what to do with the FBI headquarters moving forward. This isn't really related to the second stimulus package, so a lot of people were curious as to why they were including this in the bill in the first place. Lawmakers of both parties rejected the administration's suggestion that Congress temporarily extend the enhanced unemployment benefits and funding schools in a smaller bill while the larger stimulus package is hashed out. So they proposed passing something smaller that would continue these unemployment benefits and provide funding for schools. However, according to people in Congress, they're saying that we will get a package passed within the next week or two, and they don't want to pass a smaller package in the meantime. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the $600 per week and $2,400 per month, the last payments for most people are going out today or tomorrow, depending on what state you live in. So after this week, most people will not receive this $600 per week payments anymore, so that is why they are pushing so hard to get more relief passed for unemployment benefits very quickly. Next up, let's get into the timeline. So after meetings yesterday, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the Senate Majority Leader, he said that the administration has requested additional time to review the fine details, but we will be laying out the proposal early next week. He said we have an agreement in principle on the shape of this package, but they are still going over specific details. He goes on to explain how the final elements would be revealed by Republicans on Monday after final negotiations with the White House administration. And ultimately, he says the sum of these efforts will be a strong, targeted piece of legislation aimed directly at the challenges we face right now, and that will be what they propose to negotiate with the Democrats. So it is important to remember that while they are going to have a bill proposed on early next week, hopefully on Monday, that is just an opening bid in negotiations with congressional Democrats over the next relief package. They've spoken with the Democrats about what's in this package already, and it already has some bipartisan support. But one thing to keep in mind is that it won't be passed on Monday as soon as the Republicans propose it. It will still have to be debated, and they're still going to ultimately change a number of aspects in the package. Next up is Republicans say they believe Congress will ultimately get an agreement on the next relief package, even if talks go down to the deadline of the Senate's expected August 7th recess. So when they depart on August 7th, they're still expected to have something already passed and signed into a law. Senator Marco Rubio from Florida said, I think we'll get something done before it's all said and done before this recess, but like everything else in this process, it's going to be loud, it's going to be messy, and appear to be almost doomed on many occasions. He said that's just the way things work around there, and that it's going to take a lot of negotiations before it gets passed. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, he also told reporters on Thursday that we're looking at the text and trying to go through it line by line to review some of the provisions in the proposal. And finally, two GOP aides told ABC News that the average increase from the federal unemployment benefits, the enhanced unemployment benefits, will drop from $600 a week to about $200 per week in some cases. They said the numbers will vary though. Not everyone is going to receive $200 per week though, because it will be based on a percentage of your individual income. Ron Wyden pushed back on this. He is the top Democrat on the committee that handles unemployment benefits, and he came out with a statement blasting Republicans for letting the benefits lapse and letting them expire. He said due to ancient technology, states need between 1 and 4 weeks to adjust the $600 per week boost that they're currently sending out. And he's saying at this late hour, waiting this long up to the wire, he said the only option to guarantee benefits do not lapse and that people will receive their benefits next week. He said the only way to do this is to extend the $600 per week. He says if they make any major changes, it's going to take weeks for the state and local governments to adjust their systems to be able to send out a different amount to people. So that's something to keep in mind moving forward. We may see it change because of this reason, but that is just something important to keep in mind. Anyways, that's just a quick update on what is going on in the world this morning on Friday, July 24th, 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to get your $5 when you download the Acorns Investing app and get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you download the Webull Investing app. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video down below, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.